Hello humans, that is what you are all humans. In this video I make 9 mini wooden cutting boards to sell to various other humans who want to buy them from me. Because I'm human. By the time I actually got around to editing this video, I've already sold 2 of them, which is why there are only 7 in the thumbnail. 10 points to any humans who noticed that the title said something about 9 cutting boards, yet the picture only showed 7. That is a remarkable showcase of mathematical prowess. And while on the subject of mathematical calculations, I had originally stated that I would do my best to upload a new video every week, and stuck to that schedule for about 4 weeks before falling behind. I haven't uploaded a video in like 3 weeks, probably more. But Kurt Lewin said, if you want to truly understand something, try to change it. So in an attempt to understand my schedule, I've changed it all around. So prepare for random videos whenever I feel like making them. I do enjoy making them immensely though, and a barking dog is more useful than a sleeping lion. That had literally nothing to do with anything else going on in this video, but I felt like saying it anyways. So thus far in this video, you've seen me slice and dice on the miter saw, then spend like an hour planing everything down, and now I am ripping the boards into thinner strips on the table saw. Similar to my future, I have no particular plan or idea in mind, I just cut pieces up randomly. I was using oak, pecan, and maple for this batch of boards, all of which I gathered locally and milled myself. That was all several months ago now, as if you use fresh wood for your projects, it tends to be far too saturated with moisture, which leads to the wood cracking, twisting, and warping further on down the road. So to counter this, wood is dried out for several months, if not years, before it should be used. Oh! After cutting all the boards down, I sat down and began to arrange the strips into patterns that I liked. These cutting boards are only about 12 or 13 inches by 8 inches. Thus, by nature, they are smaller than most. I did some of the boards in specific symmetrical patterns, and others I just did completely randomly. Enjoy a little bit of stacking. If you have watched some of my previous videos, you will know that I am searching for a great budget-friendly glue spreader. I want something functional, attractive, cheap, and glorious. My guy Brent suggested that I use a threaded rod, so I tried out using a bolt, as that was the closest thing to a threaded rod that I had on hand. I will give it a 4 out of 10. It looked cool and all, but it had no personality. There actually is a reason it took me so long to create another video, and that reason starts right here. I only work on one video at a time, and thus do not film another project until the current video is completed, and I only have 2 parallel clamps. So I had to glue the cutting boards one at a time, let the first one dry, and then start the next one. You may say, well George, why don't you just go and buy some more parallel clamps so the process goes faster? And the answer to that is no. For 2 reasons. The first being that more clamps are not within the budget right now, and the second being that my name isn't even George. As you just saw, I also tried using a wrench as a glue spreader. This was probably a 3 out of 10. It wasn't at all attractive looking and didn't even really have a personality either. I only filmed myself gluing up 2 of the 9 cutting boards because I don't really want to waste your entire life, just small portions of it from time to time. Then I used some mystical magic to stack the boards, and took some time to show off my superior powerlifting techniques. That is heavier than a... One thing that I've come to enjoy immensely is responding to comments that people leave on my videos. So far I've been able to respond to every comment in English that has been left, and I intend to continue to do that as long as possible. And just so that my mother does not rebuke me for my foul language, the word uttered while lifting up the planer was not a bad word. It was actually a really good word. If anyone successfully guesses it in the comments, I will gladly send the first person to do so a pen or some other prize for your lip-reading finesse. And while on the topic of comments, I was told to give a shout out to "My name is Patrick and I live in Michigan, USA," saying that can you give me a shout out on your next video? So there is your shout out, sir. Enjoy. Though of recent days my lathe has been trying to compete, I am certain that this tool is out to get me. I kind of deserve it though, with whatever sort of nonsense that was. I used the router table to put a rounded edge on all of the boards. It is a scary tool, very loud, but it is also a very fun tool and a very useful tool. Then it was time for every woodworker's dream, spending several hours sanding. I abbreviated this process immensely in the video, just because if there's anything more boring than me talking, it is probably watching me sanding. One thing I learned during the making of this video is that sometimes things you order on Amazon can be a real letdown. I'll have more on this later, but I ordered a bulk package of sandpaper for like $12. I think I was going to save so much money. It should have been called sand on paper, as the adhesive holding the sand to the paper was about as strong as most of my relationships. At least my relationships tend to last longer than this sandpaper. This stuff only lasted about 2 minutes per sheet. It was really bad. At this point, the whole project started to fall apart. I had a lady who wanted to buy 2 cutting boards and 1 charcuterie board. I finished 2 of the cutting boards faster than the rest, which included raising the grain, sanding some more, applying a finish, and putting on some cutting board feet which I ordered on Amazon. A grievous mistake. These cutting board feet were advertised as, oh goodness, were advertised as non-marking, meaning they weren't supposed to leave marks or streaks on the surface they were placed on. This was not the case, but it gets worse. I didn't notice anything was wrong with them until I arrived to complete the transaction, and the genius that I am stacked all the boards on top of the charcuterie board, meaning that the feet rubbed black streaks and marks all over the board. The board was unfit to be sold in that condition. Oh, what?
Now how'd that happen?
And the genius that I am stacked all the boards on top of the charcuterie board, meaning that the feet rubbed black streaks all over the board. The board was unfit to be sold in that condition, and I wasn't about to sell some cutting boards to an unsuspecting victim whose entire kitchen would likely be covered in black streaks by the end of the day. So I had to awkwardly explain my predicament to the customer, apologize several times, and then complete the walk of shame back to my car and drive home. The lady was very understanding and sympathetic, which really helped my mood, and she still wanted to go through with the transaction once I fixed the issue. Luckily, I could just resurface the boards and apply a new finish, and they were as good as new. Don't get these cutting board feet. This is me removing the old feet. I got some new feet from cuttingboardfeet.com. That is an actual website. It directed me to eBay where I purchased some excellent cutting board feet. Not sponsored or anything. I'm not sure who would dare have the audacity to sponsor a man with such a massive audience as I have. And just for a bit of comparison, here is me rubbing the new feet on a piece of plywood versus the old feet. Yeah, big difference. Don't buy those rubbish cutting board feet. The other strange thing about those cutting board feet was it was a package of 25, whereas my new feet were a package of 24. Why would you want 25 cutting board feet? Are you going to do 6 cutting boards with 4 feet on them apiece and then 1 cutting board with 1 foot? What's the purpose of that extra one? Enjoy watching me put on the cutting board feet, the new cutting board feet. Jeff Bezos said, "A company shouldn't get addicted to being shiny, because shiny doesn't last." I suppose that's why he allows those misleading and destructive cutting board feet to be sold on Amazon. He just wants to make sure that your kitchen is not a shiny place. Thanks so much for watching to the end. Here are a couple of final shots of the cutting boards, and also some cheese. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to sit down on the floor or drink some water. Hydration is very important. Until next time, go break some noses. Not actually. Don't do that. I'm not encouraging violence. Don't break any noses. Go fix some noses. All right, thanks for watching.